Hello, world. I'm glad to be back with you. Where else would I want to be but with you? Thank you very much for tuning in. We've got another very unusual, very interesting guest I'll introduce you to in just a minute. But again, I look at the papers. I'm saying I'm going to do a little monologue like what's his name, Johnny Carson used to do. There's nobody like Johnny Carson. Nobody could do a monologue like Johnny Carson could do. But I do read the papers. And I try to find something humorous and funny in there. I don't see a lot of funny stuff. The latest thing I see is President Trump. And I resent it when anybody says, Trump said this and Trump said that. He's the president. President Trump said that Africa and Haiti were S-holes. S.holes. Well, in my business life, I've been to Haiti a few times. I've been to Nigeria in Africa only one time and only for a very brief period. So I really can't give you a rundown on that. But I can tell you about Haiti. It is not an S-hole place, believe me. It's gorgeous. They have a high rate of poverty, but you want to see the poor people over there? If they're wearing something white, it's snow white. They're not dirty. They're just poor people. That's all. They've had a lot of funny governments over there, funny politicians. Not their fault. They're great people. And their beaches. I'll tell you, when I was a kid, and again, here we go, log cabin stories. But when I was a kid, Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti, was the place to go if you were wealthy. Believe that. Believe it or not, it was the place to go. It was the Las Vegas of the Caribbean. Haiti's in the Caribbean, isn't it? Yeah, it's close enough anyway. It was gorgeous. Though when I went there, they have black beaches, they have white beaches, they have pink beaches, they have a climate, it is gorgeous. Their motels don't have any windows, they don't have any screens. There's no bugs there. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. It is not an S-hole. By the way, I don't think Trump ever said that. I don't believe he said that. He's too smart a guy to talk that way. This guy's a billionaire. You'd be trying to make him like he's a dunce, like he's crazy, like he's dumb. He's none of those things. I'm not a politician. I'm not a Trump man. I'm not going to tell you who I'm for or who I'm against. That's not what this show is all about. But I just had to make that point. Okay, I'm going to introduce you to my guest. Don't go away. Take off your shoes. Pour yourself your favorite beverage. I'll be right back. Okay, I told you I'd be right back. I'm a pretty lucky guy. I get guests on the show that are fascinating people, and I've got to compliment three people. I should compliment everybody that comes on the show, but I got to compliment a couple of guys before I introduce you to my guest. And one of the guys is Mike Malinowski. He is the town administrator for the town of Carver, and I got to thank Charlie Seelig. He's the town administrator for the town of Halifax. Thanks, guys, for being on my show, giving up your time to come over here. And now I've got to thank a third person, another town administrator for the town of Plimpton. And her name, she tells me, is Liz Dennehy. Hi, Liz.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here, giving up part of your time and to come over here. I really appreciate it. I got to say, how do I put this out? This is so difficult to talk to ladies these days. How do I put this? You probably, and I've interviewed a few town administrators, Randolph, Brockton, Ava. You're the first female.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. And congratulations.
Thank you.
I think it's about time, by the way. And you're very young.
I like to think so.
You certainly are. Have a family?
I do. I do. I'm married and I have two children, two
children.
girls
How old are the girls?
of 5 and 7.
5 and 7. What
Yes.
delightful ages.
Yes.
Oh, that's
yes, it's a
great.
lot of fun.
Enjoy being a mom?
Very much so. It's the best thing in the world.
Yeah. It's, you know, I had 2 sons, and I wish I could do that all over again. That's the
Yeah,
best time.
it's fun and it goes by so quickly.
Oh, man, does it ever. I'm glad you realize that.
It does.
Yeah.
Everybody says it when you first have the children when they're babies, that it goes by quickly, and you don't realize it though until they start to get a little bit bigger. It just seems like year after year it's just flying by.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're both in school now.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand, actually, correct me if I'm wrong, I understand that this is the first town administrator Plimpton has ever had.
That's correct.
So you're setting, you're history making. Wow.
Yes, blazing the trail.
Yeah, blazing the trail, right. How come they never had a town administrator before?
Well, they did have, at one time in the past, a town coordinator's position, which I believe was a part-time position, and it was a little bit more geared towards the size of the community back at that time. But we're at a place now where the town is growing, and it's growing quickly, and so I think that they recognize the need for a full-time person to be there to handle all the day-to-day items as they come up.
Yeah, yeah. It's growing, and is it growing? Is it growing, or has it stopped growing?
It's really growing.
It's really growing.
It's really growing, and home values are rising, and you know, a lot of people are selecting Plimpton as a place to locate and raise a family and everything.
I want to tell you a quick story about Plimpton. I was born and brought up in Randolph, lived there for a long time, most of my life. Moved to Carver about 17 years ago. But while in Randolph, I had a job, traveling job. I'm a hairstylist, retired. And I used to put on shows with celebrities, people, women, that kind of thing. And because of the people I dealt with who were kind of phony-ish, if I may use that term, forgive me, I don't know a better word. You know, they were business people who struck it lucky when the wig craze hit. You don't remember the wig craze. All of a sudden, women started to buy wigs.
Okay.
Like there was no tomorrow, where they had never bought wigs before. Now I was a beautician. I was a hairdresser in a local salon in Rockland, and we had 1 or 2 wigs. All of a sudden, we couldn't keep them in stock, and the first synthetic wig company started right here in Massachusetts, in Lawrence, Massachusetts, called Reed Meredith, R&M. But anyway, that's not what I'm driving at. Because of the traveling I did and the people I associated with, trying to sell them this, trying to sell them that. It was to the point where when I got home, I desired to talk with some regular people. So I used to get, on a Sunday morning, I'd get up very early and come down, and where the country store is now, there was a coffee shop there. And I'd come all the way from Randolph, which is about 30 miles, just to have a cup of coffee with some regular people.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. They would talk to me like I was their long-lost son. And it was so great just to talk to regular people. And that's how I feel about Plimpton today. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful little town. It's a little expensive, I guess, because there's not much industry there.
True, true.
And
the
they're trying to
town
keep it
does maintain
pristine.
its rural character. They work very hard to do that.
Yeah, and it works. And
It
works.
does.
And we could talk about Deborah Sampson. Do you know Deborah Sampson?
I do not. Well, I know the history behind it, but
Okay. Yeah, she was.
but if you care to elaborate on
Yeah,
it.
I do care. Yeah. She fought in the
And she's on the
Revolutionary-
patch.
Yeah.
She's on the
Yeah,
police department
yeah.
patches.
She was born in Plimpton, and she fought in the Revolutionary War as a man.
Yes, that's what I heard.
Yeah. And she went all through the war, and she died in Sharon. I think she's buried in Sharon.
Okay, see, that I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I
She-
did, though, when I went on the tour of the town, I did go past her former homestead.
Yeah. You have a historical society in Plimpton.
We do.
And when I used to do these shows in Randolph, we did it with the Historical Society's guidance.
Okay.
They worked with us because there's a lot of history in Randolph. But you want to see a lot of history, come to Plimpton. There's a lot of history in Plimpton. That graveyard you have right there in the
Right,
town,
right across from the
common,
townhouse.
Yeah, it's loaded with history. It's just loaded with history.
The Historical Society as well, too. They have a lot of, not just artifacts, but they have whole exhibits put up and everything.
Yeah.
And then just recently I was over at the library and they actually have several books that were published. They're essentially old stories of Plimpton and everything. So the town really clearly embraces its history.
Yes, it certainly does.
And with good reason.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yes. Plimpton was incorporated in 1707. That's pretty early on.
It is.
I mean, the Pilgrims landed in 1620. So what is that, 87 years later, Plimpton was incorporated. So yeah, that's how I feel about Plimpton. You know, years ago when I used to come down here, there was a lot down on the end of Elm Street or someplace. I don't know where it was now, but there were 2 lots, an acre apiece, that I could have bought for $5,000.
Wow.
And I said to my wife, let's buy those 2. She said, what are we going to do with them? And I said, well, we'll keep it. Maybe I'd like to move down there when I retire or whatever. And she said, she talked me out of it. I wish she hadn't now, because it's beautiful. They're all built up. It's great. Okay, we're going to come right back. We only got about a minute left. I want to talk to you about what your plans are for the town when we come back, and we're coming right back. Okay, we're back. Me and Liz Dennehy. Hi, Liz.
Hi.
When we left, that's a great Irish name, by the way, Elizabeth Dennehy.
Well, my husband is partly to credit for that.
Oh,
for the
okay,
last
yes,
name.
that's true. What was your maiden name, if I may ask?
Lynn.
Lynn?
Yes.
L-Y-N-N?
Yes.
Elizabeth Lynn.
Yes, so another Irish name.
Pretty name, pretty name. Okay. You are the town administrator of the beautiful town, pristine little town of Plimpton, Massachusetts.
Yes.
And I would like to know how you like the job so far.
I really love it. I think that it's been one of those experiences where it seemed like a great fit right from the beginning, even before I had the job. And this was something that I've discussed with some of the people in town as I've met them. But when I went for the first interview, it was with the 9-member screening committee. So that's a lot of people to participate in an interview process.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, I feel like when you're interviewing for a position such as this, you're in some ways interviewing the place as much as they're interviewing you.
Yes.
Because obviously to make the decision to take on a job such as this, it's really kind of a lifestyle change. And I got such a nice, warm sense from each of the people on that screening committee. I really felt like I made connections with all of them, and everybody was just so kind and so friendly that I said to myself when I left there, I said, well, what a fantastic little place. What a privilege it would be to get that position, to be able to work there. And then when I was selected as a finalist for the position, I had the follow-up interview with the 3-member board of selectmen. And when I attended that interview and talked with them, I got that same warm sense. I genuinely liked all 3 of them, which, as you know, in the political world with municipal government, that's quite the thing to be able to say that, you know, all 3 elected officials were all so personable and so kind and just genuinely interested in bettering the community. And I really liked all 3 of them. And I left that interview shortly before I found out that I had in fact been awarded the position, saying to myself yet again, what a fantastic community and what a good sense that I got from it. So it just seemed like it was going to be a good fit. And obviously they agreed. But I'm very proud to be working there. Plimpton, it's as you mentioned, it's a unique, special little community.
It is.
It's very small, a
Yep.
population around 2,800,
Is
2,900.
that the population? Is
Yes,
that
they're
right?
thereabouts.
I would have guessed
Thereabouts.
10,000.
No,
Wow,
no,
wow.
less than 3,000. So, it's a fantastic community. It does present some challenges sometimes in the way of resources.
Of course.
Obviously, you have less taxpayers, a little bit less revenue coming in. But I think just the character of the community and sort of the strong sense that the people there have as far as contributing to the community and the volunteerism that takes place there, it's really quite remarkable.
Do you get a lot of that?
We do, and even to your point that you made earlier about this being the first time that they've had a full-time town administrator's position, the way that the community was going prior to my starting there, it was being run day to day by, obviously we have a dedicated group of employees, but to a large extent volunteer efforts. It was the boards and commissions, including the Board of Selectmen, that were really the people sort of where the rubber meets the road, getting things done. And the effort that these people undertook is just remarkable to keep the community running and running very well. It's a very well-managed town.
What a great thing to say. That's a nice thing to say.
But it's the truth.
I'm sure it is.
It's the truth.
When
I was so surprised by just how a town such as that, because even though it's a small community population-wise,
Yeah.
we're still required to do all the same things that every other city
Oh,
and town
yeah.
in the Commonwealth
Yeah.
has to do.
Yeah.
We still go through all the same processes and procedures. We're still held to the same standards, and it doesn't matter, whether your population is 3,000 or 25,000 or
300,000.
90,000. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You're still doing all those same functions and providing effective and responsive public service to your residents. And the fact that they were able to do it for so long without a town administrator, I think is really a testament to the people that
No
reside
question.
there.
Why did they feel they needed a town administrator? As you just said, they did so well for so long.
I think
Because
that it
of
was
the growth?
the growth. The town is really growing, and there's a lot of different things happening, even on the state level, and a lot of different initiatives that they wanted to take on. And even though the efforts of everybody are so remarkable, people do, to an extent, you have limitations. And so you get to a point where I think that the need to have somebody there day to day, not just to handle things as they come up, but also to bridge any gaps that may exist
I agree.
between all the efforts to kind of centralize communication and facilitate some of the initiatives that they want to move forward with.
You're not as afraid that when I first met you that you might be kind of the quiet type?
No.
Boy, was I wrong. Thank God. You have any grandiose plans in the future for the town of Plimpton? Is there anything building going on, or any department heads being rolled, or anything like that?
No heads are rolling in
Okay.
Plimpton. No, it's a great place. The staff is fantastic. I
What's
would
for the
say,
future, though? What's for the future?
as far as the future goes, I think that we really need to look at where we're at as far as the balance of commercial development to residential.
Do you seek industry?
I think that we should.
you?
I do. Just to facilitate the sort of the fiscal long-term management plan for
But
the town.
would you sacrifice the pristine look of
You
the...
can't. You can't. So it would
can't,
have to
okay.
be done very carefully. It's something we have, which was recently established within the last year or two, a bylaw review committee. And that is comprised of a group of very talented individuals who have all resided in town for varying lengths of time. You have some lifelong residents on the committee. You also have some people who have been there, maybe 14 years, which in Plimpton years, that's considered sort of a newbie from what I've been told.
Okay, in Plimpton, yes.
Yes. But so those people are looking right now at our zoning bylaw and trying to figure out ways that maybe we could facilitate some responsible changes. Any kind of growth or industry needs to be done very carefully and very responsibly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't want to change the rural character of the
do not.
community.
Please don't do that.
No, we
But
never
don't you
would.
have a police station going to be built soon?
We do, and that's going to be done right next door to the current townhouse police station facility.
Okay. When will that start?
We expect to break ground sometime in March.
Oh,
So it's right
quick.
on the horizon, yes, very
Yeah.
soon.
Oh, wow.
So that's exciting. And as far as talking about long-term development plans, I think it's been the hope of a few people in the community that maybe we could expand upon the town center concept. We have centrally located, for those of you that may be watching that aren't that familiar with the town, we have our townhouse police station currently. We're going to be building the new police station next door. Then over on the other side, we have our fire station, and then the library is just beyond that. So our hope is that at some point maybe we could create somewhat of a master plan for the center of the town and make sure that all the key pieces are accessible from one another, even for pedestrians.
Yeah.
With it being located on 58, that's somewhat of a double-edged sword. Obviously, it's a fantastic location
Yeah.
as far as people knowing where it is and how to get there. But as far as making some of the pedestrian connections for people who maybe want to, walk to the library and check out a book or come, do their business at the townhouse, those sorts of things, we want to work on some of the pedestrian connections a little bit. And maybe create a master plan for it so that we do have the field too,
Yeah.
up in the back for
Yeah.
the kids and everything. So maybe something to that effect to really kind of centralize the services.
Crass question, Liz.
Yes.
You mind a crass question?
No.
Okay. The new police station,
Yes.
how much is it going to cost?
3 million.
3. Is it going to increase the tax rate by much?
No. They were smart
No?
enough. No. They were smart enough to plan ahead when Cisco came in.
Yep.
And that industrial area was built up a little bit.
I don't even know Cisco's there, to be honest with you.
I know, and that was the goal.
And it
that's
worked.
and when we talked about doing more development in the community, that's the type of development we want. Development that adds to the tax base, and we can improve upon services to residents, but meanwhile, the average person doesn't know it's there. They don't associate Plimpton with industrial development.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
yes.
If you can keep doing that, I'm going to be loving you.
But they actually take a portion of the revenue that's generated from those industrial components, and it actually gets placed directly into like a capital improvement account.
Yeah.
No, the taxes won't go up, but we do have a budget of $3 million, and we do need to stick to it.
That's great. What did you do before you become a town administrator? What was your job?
I was the Community and Economic Development Director for the town of Walpole.
Oh, wow.
For 3 years
It's
prior.
a big town.
Yeah, it is a big town.
Yeah.
Very different than Plimpton.
Yes, very.
Same great people, but a very different community. And prior to that, I worked for the city of Fall River for 8 years as the planning director, doing planning,
So
zoning.
you've got great credentials.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Do
you. I
mind
appreciate that.
I asked you the school you went to?
I went to Bridgewater State. I have a
Which is a
master's.
great school.
It is. It is. I really loved Bridgewater.
Yeah, it's a great school.
Yeah, I have a master's degree in public administration from Bridgewater.
Wow. Do you really?
Yes,
That's great.
yes, but I always loved Bridgewater.
Yeah, I think it's
Another great New England town.
New England towns are great no matter what you say about them. And listen, Bridgewater State is now Bridgewater University, by
Yes.
the way. Yeah. I love it because my son and his wife both graduated from there.
Oh, fantastic.
with
My mother is a
bachelor's.
graduate from there,
Yeah.
too.
So it's a great school. Okay, so you did that. Now, how long have you been in this position?
Since November 27th.
November 27th.
Yep, so just after Thanksgiving.
You're pretty new.
Very new.
Yeah. Was it overwhelming at first?
Honestly, no, because coming in, everybody was so incredibly helpful.
Oh, yeah, that's
And
great. That's great.
everybody was helpful, and the Board of Selectmen were fantastic as far as getting me acclimated, making sure I was introduced to people.
Were there any members in town that applied for the job?
I'm not aware of that. I know that it was narrowed down to myself and another finalist who
So
I
no
believe was
department-
from Western Mass.
No department heads that now work for you applied for that job?
I'm not certain of that, but I don't believe so.
Okay. You don't sense any jealousy?
No. Actually, the group of people that I work with in the townhouse, it's a fantastic group of colleagues.
Well, the people that I've met, the brief time I was there, I certainly have to agree with you. Yeah, they're great people.
Yes.
We've only got a couple of minutes left, and I want to give you some time to talk to the people. Is there anything you'd like to say that we haven't touched on?
Just that we're working right now on improving our database for a list of all of our various boards and commissions and committees, and we're going over any vacancies that exist. So if anybody who resides in town is interested in volunteering and getting involved with town government and maybe holding a position on one of our boards or committees, please pursue it. Feel free to contact our town clerk's office and get more information.
Are you available? Can they get to you easily?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm available, but we're really working right now on, I'm working hand in hand with the town clerk right now on getting an active listing of all the boards and the members that comprise them, and if there are any vacancies.
I think, I've always said this is the shortest 30 minutes in television, and today I can say that and really mean it, because this time went by so
It did.
quick.
It
So
did for
quick.
me too.
I would like to invite you, if you would, along with Mike Malinowski. Do you know that name?
Yes. I've worked with him fairly extensively since getting started.
And Charlie Siegel.
Yeah.
The three of you, the town administrators for the 3 towns that we cover, would come in here and sit with me and just bat the breeze, as so to speak, about various things that you do in the town, argue a little bit maybe, good-naturedly, and swap ideas. Would you do that?
Absolutely.
All right, that's great. Okay, sorry to see this end, because number one, she's a very charming lady, and for one so young, she's very knowledgeable, and she's very committed. And I think that the town of Plimpton has hit a lucky streak.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like I have as well.
So, until the next time, I'm Ken Simmons for Area 58 Community Access Media. I'll be back with another guest. If not, I'll be back with a monologue you won't believe. It'll knock your socks off. Until then, keep a song in your heart. Goodbye, and God bless.